I was there for both of the trials initially. And this was considered one of those celebrity trials. You had two rich defendants from Beverly Hills who were engaged in this sort of salacious activity and shotgunning their parents. And there were cameras in the courtroom. And it's a time when there were other high profile cases. So it's very well etched in the memory of people here in Los Angeles. I think now it's taking on other significance, like what do we do about defendants who were of that age when they committed the crime? But it's a case that continues to be in the media and continues to be in docudramas. So it has both those aspects of being a really serious criminal case, but sort of having an entertainment aspect as well. I'm not really surprised by this. There's been a lot of discussions. In this way, George Gascon can get out his message that he's sensitive to issues of abuse, that he's focused on rehabilitation, but that he's going to give the Menendez defendants a chance. He doesn't then have full responsibility for what happens because a judge has to agree and the parole commission has to agree and even the governor has a chance to weigh in. But what's unusual about this case is Gascon himself admitted that there was dissent within his office. So we do expect that people will oppose what's happening here. And it'll be up to the judge, William Ryan, whether he hears from them. Now, if it's a family member who objects, I think the judge is likely to hear. It's fairly unprecedented for the lawyers in that same office to say, we oppose this petition. So we'll wait and see if the judge allows that. I don't think that this will happen overnight, that the judge will make a decision. They're going to file their petition tomorrow. We would expect some type of hearing during the next 30 days, but we don't know what that will be yet because this judge may be interested in what, in fact, the defendants have been doing in prison, but he might also be interested in whether this new evidence is really new and whether it's authentic. So it's hard to know how long this proceeding will take. I actually think that this could take many months for them to be free because let's not forget, they first have to go through the court accepting the petition, and then they have to go through the parole board. And the parole board sets their own schedule for the hearings. And then after the parole board makes their decision, the governor will have another 100 days to weigh in. So if everything goes their way, is it possible for them to walk out fairly quickly? Yes. But it depends on what stalls before the judge or the parole board. I think generally it is a good move to reassess what happened to sentencing back in the 80s. There was a lot of very long, unnecessarily long sentencing where we have people who have been there 30, 40 years and they're still just in prison. They're not likely to commit more offenses. It's also true that I think that the issue of abuse is viewed differently now than it was then. So on the big picture, it's important to take a look at these cases. In the Menendez case, I think people are kind of curious as to why this becomes the poster child case that is going to examine those issues. You know, it's interesting. We do have an election coming up, and George Gascon, the current DA, who just signed off on this petition, is very far behind, according to all the polls. We're talking 20, 30 points. The issue is whether this is something that could save his campaign. And actually, I wonder about that, because I don't know that there's a swell of support in Los Angeles for the Menendez brothers.